It's not too late to make your Christmas cards, or if you've made them all, it's not too late to paint along with me a couple of cute sort of Christmassy, wintry landscapes. So today I'm going to do a couple more examples of simple Christmas card ideas. This time we're going to be focusing on those kind of landscapes and how we can get that effect of snow. And it's all about using soft colours and remembering that snow has shadows. It's not just white and flat. For both these ideas, there's no reference, but on my Patreon, there's a free post linked below where you can see my line work before the colours and my finished version with the colours to use as a reference if you'd like to recreate my scenes. If you're looking for more sort of cute and quirky Christmas card ideas, check out my video from last week, which is linked down below. Like that, let's dive in and see what happens. Just like in last week's video, we've got the reference, which will be my line work, and then my finished version in the top left corner. And all we're doing at the start is finding some really simple shapes. So here, I'm imagining some kind of silo with a farmhouse perhaps next to it. That's going to be the kind of focus, or the main focus of my scene. Alongside it, we can just think of really simple things to give it a bit of context. Well, since it's Christmas, let's pop a triangle in with a little circle on top. And we're going to be calling that one a Christmas tree and bringing it to life a little bit with the colours as well, of course. Using our fine pen, we can sort of solidify some of the lines as well as provide a little bit of hatching, which starts to give us a sense of 3D to our very 2D shapes otherwise. And then we need some kind of background, don't we? And for a little snowy landscape, what's more of a suitable background than a gentle hill? That just gives us something to separate the sky from the midground and the foreground. And the line itself, the kind of shape and the texture of it, can be really simple, because a mountain can just have this lightly jagged texture. It doesn't need to be more than that. Again, a little bit of fiddling around the farmhouse. Now that we're happy with the background, we can just bring out the windows and the sort of contours, the outline a little bit more. And then we need to start thinking about what's happening in front of that. Now we want a nice snowy scene, and snow has lots of rumples and little shadows in it. So it's important to start suggesting those with our pen. That's what my little horizontal marks are about. And we can also find some grass, little bits of grass or hay sticking out of that snow perhaps. We might find little rocks as another option, something just to add a 3D texture to. And it's Christmas. Let's pop in a little snowman. These little ideas, the Christmas trees, the snowmen, are what turns a simple scene into something quite cool, quite fun to have, I think, as a Christmas card on this scale. Now it is time to play with the colours. What I'm doing here is using a size 6 brush and splattering on the colours, you can see. The reason for splattering and then connecting the colours like this is because it gives us a much more kind of authentic, varied feel to the sky, but without overworking it. And you can see here we can then touch in other colours and move them around, and we end up with something quite soft and interesting. Underneath you can see I've accidentally activated the ink, which hadn't dried properly, but that's alright. Just moved it around to soften it out and moved on. We'll come back and fix that a little bit later. Because underneath this we're after gentle shadows. The snow, again, we mentioned the shadows with those ink lines, but snow is not just something which has no life. It's got interesting shadows and reflections. And using those soft blue colours, those lavenders, those soft neutrals can really help sell that idea. Dropping in the colours again, look at that lavender, look how it pushes away that ink. So now we have our crisp sky back. Underneath, we need a little bit of warmth. Something bold and bright. You can feel the whole thing's quite flat now. And that boldness, that brightness, that warmth, like reddish tones, or even just these rich greens, that gives us a foreground. It gives us more than just softness. Softness is lovely, but it doesn't give us a focus. And now I've let my page dry, I'm going to double down on that warmth. So using a much smaller brush now, I'm able to add more of these oranges, these quinacridones, light red touches, as well as much thicker lavender to give us more emphasis in that foreground. And this emphasis, this kind of focus in the front, comes from this layering. It doesn't come from thick colours at the beginning. It comes from really gentle colours which build up just in a few places. And now I think what we have is a really interesting focus on that building and a little bit happening in the foreground as well. There is, of course, a couple of things missing, aren't there? We haven't brought the tree to life, we haven't brought the snowman to life, and simple things like that little touch of yellow, which I'm going to inject underneath the snowman as well, into the windows. These gentle kind of glowing feels is what does start to bring our foreground to life. Layering up the greens in the tree as well and adding a little bit of green sneaking out from underneath our snow. And just like that, we're pretty much there. We're just at that little fiddling stage where we need to take a step back and say, this is supposed to be a simple, happy little card. Put your signature on and feel proud that in just a few minutes you created something awesome. And with that, we can move on to the next one. So for our next scene, I want to do something a bit different. All of last week's scenes and this morning's scene is portrait. So let's do a landscape rather than a portrait landscape. And also I want to make this feel a bit more urban, have more houses going on essentially. Now you can see again my little reference line work in the top left corner. And I'm just imagining a little street running together with a tiny bit of perspective going on. The perspective isn't super important, but I think it adds a nice sort of story through the scene. It pulls you into the scene. To do this, I'm just drawing one of a million, well, not literally a million, but one of many streets I've drawn in the past, and not overcomplicating it, keeping it really simple, little suggestions of windows, there's a tree in front of one house, and then of course the obligatory Christmas tree to make this into a kind of kitsch little funky Christmas card rather than just any old winter scene. On the other side, we want to think about how to replicate similar ideas. So we've got a couple of houses on the left, but we don't want it to be too symmetrical. We've got the tree smack bang in the middle of our scene, and symmetry is a really good way to kill off the interest in a scene. It's just a rule of composition. It's not a hard rule. Of course, people can create beautiful symmetrical art, but broadly speaking, having a little bit of asymmetry is really important. So on the right, I have a slightly taller single house. And for me, that amount of asymmetry works just fine. Again, really simple idea. We've got snow in our scene, snow scary to sketch. So the key is to leave lots of space, which we've been doing, especially in that last scene. We just added a little bit of colour in the foreground. And remembering that snow isn't just like white and homogeneous. Snow has got ripples and shadows. So our ink lines already suggest that. Using our pen, we can then just restate with a little bit of confidence some of our key contours, maybe add in a tiny little porch onto this house. It was just feeling a bit lonely and perhaps the scene didn't quite extend to the right enough. And then pop in your signature. Is there anything else we could add in? Well, yeah, it's still a bit of a flat scene, isn't it? So why don't we find some extra textures? Little bits of hatching to suggest some light and dark. These things really help. Light and dark only comes from shadows and 3D objects. And then come forward a tiny bit more with our shadow lines. Now the colours. Let's do a bit of a close-up. Using a big brush this time. This is a size 16, I believe. And loads of lavender. Now you don't need to splatter to get a loose feel. But look how much water there is. Look how the colours, I put them on the page. And then they sort of move for a little bit. In the foreground this time, we can try putting a bit more colour there. So instead of just doing very minimal shadows, we'll do some more maximal lavender. Kind of like a sort of reflection of the sky down into the snow. Above that, some little splatters because I can't help myself. Now, what is the next step? It is, of course, just like before, to find some of those bolder colours and look at the sort of finished version in the top left corner. That warmth, those yellows and reds are what bring us a focus and give us something to look at rather than just having soft, lovely gentleness from all these gentle blues. It is important, of course, to use these blues to start the shadows and things like that. But before long, we pick up another brush and we start popping on those richer colours. And this is where we make lots of decisions, isn't it? How bright do we want this tree to be? I want it to be a nice focus, but look, a little bit too bright, a little bit too uncontrolled. Because we're using plenty of water, it's really easy to pick up those colours and we're back to probably where we want it to be. And that is my message every single time. That's why I use a big brush, plenty of water, is because if things don't quite work, you're flexible. You can recover the colours back off the page. Now we start on the warmer colours. Again, the asymmetry, so more yellow on the left, more kind of umber on the right, and keeping space. Lots of space in the foreground, lots of space in the warm colours on the buildings as well. Not just filling in the shapes, not just blocking them in with thick colours. I love a red chimney, so of course got to find a bit of red to pop on the page. And with that red on the chimney, where else can we add it? Well, it can be little abstract marks. We can get the suggestion of perhaps a snow-covered roof by just having some red tiles peeking through. And a red door, because our house at home has a bright red door. So there's my little homage to my real life. We need a bit more depth still. We can see the red is really providing a lot of depth, a lot of punch at the moment. But it's about thinking, where can we add shadows, bolder neutrals, things like that. Windows back into the foreground, giving us more of that crumpled, rumpled appearance to the snow. Even doing some almost dry brush textures to suggest that kind of appearance that snow often has. It's very, very textured and dotty, isn't it? And we're getting towards the end now, so we can start really building in those thicker colours. We said paint with lots of water. We're still painting with lots of water, but as we move forward, we use less and less water to help layer up the colours and create these really sort of big, bold contrasts. And yellows and reds are really lovely ways to do this. You can see, adding in these yellows and reds, they kind of jump off the page at you. So these kind of little touches, not going too far with them, I hope. It's always an experiment, isn't it? You're never quite sure what's going to happen in watercolours, but not going hopefully too far with them starts to again create that interest in what is otherwise a soft and gentle scene. And like that, we're pretty much done. Is there anything else we can fiddle with? There's always room for some splatters and splashes, isn't there? A couple of splatters around the outside and pretending I know what I'm doing by adding another little blob of lavender, but really I need to stop fiddling. And again, another simple scene done. There you go, all done and dusted, and hopefully a couple more Christmas cards for you which you no longer need to buy. And if I don't see you before then, have a good Christmas. If you do enjoy these videos, please do like, subscribe, leave a comment even, hit the notification bell. A long to-do list, I know. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one.